In this video, I'm going to give you an insight into what Megan ate in the lead up to getting into this condition here. So what I've been doing over the last couple of weeks is actually compiling a whole lot of meal records that Megan did back then, and it's been quite interesting to go through the whole process of consolidating. And what I've done is I've put it into this PDF, which you can get if that's something you want to read through. But what I'll do for you today is talk you through some key points, some key pieces of information that you need to understand when it comes to losing the tummy fat, getting abs after babies, essentially building a body that is better than the one that you had before you had babies, because that's exactly what Megan did. I'll give you a little bit of a context. Where Megan was at month one here was she was just coming out of chronic fatigue. So she started getting better, which meant that a lot of the symptoms were actually still hanging around. And you'll see as we go through month one, just the symptoms that she was facing, and how much she actually had to eat to have those symptoms kind of go away. Now, when it comes to being chronically fatigued, or even simply just having a postpartum metabolism, what you've got to understand is anytime you're sleep deprived, your body doesn't use nutrients as well as it should, and therefore you've got to attack it two ways. You've got to improve your sleep quality, but at the same time you've got to increase your nutrition so that you're making up for that gap and you're slowly closing the gap from both ends. If you just try and focus on your nutrition without your sleep, then you don't actually close the gap far enough. And the same goes if you try and improve your sleep and you kind of let everything go to the wayside and focus on your nutrition later on, you never actually close that gap. So you can actually do it both simultaneously. So here in month one, the first thing that you can kind of see here is, first of all, she's eating quite frequently. Okay, so she's eating frequently. She's eating 6 times a day. Now, that's not to say you need to go and start eating 6 times a day. This is just what Megan had to do. She was eating 6 times a day for years before, and even way before she even got into the fitness industry. As a kid, she would eat second breakfast and snack a fair bit as well. So she's always eaten very regularly, and this is just the pattern that she kind of kept up with over time. Now, in month one, if we take a look at the kind of forest from the trees, apart from the meal frequency, you can see that she's in a really good routine, which is why she was lean. Okay, which is why she was lean already. She didn't have a lot of body fat to lose per se. Okay, and this is the thing is when you are in a really good routine, you get rid of what I like to call the shit fat. Right, I call it the shit fat because it's anything above 17% body fat. It's that really bulky body fat that kind of feels like it's hard to remove, but it's only hard to remove because you don't have a routine. Getting yourself into a routine where you're eating similar foods every single day doesn't mean you have to lack variety, but you're eating similar foods every single day, you can start to measure what's working and what's not working. And as you can see here, there's quite a lot of detail as well. So Megan didn't hold back. She wrote everything down, and this is another important part to this whole process, is being aware of not only the stuff that you plan to do, but the stuff that's unplanned. So let's take a look and see what we've got. Day one, Megan eats an omelette for breakfast. She has some mince in set meal 2. Okay, that's probably a savory mince there. Okay, she's written down all the ingredients to this. Meal 3 was some fish and some salad, and then meal 4 was cooked chicken thigh with some more salad. She's gone and had some roast lamb at night with some pumpkin and broccoli, some sweet potato as well. And then meal 6 was the dessert. right? And that's kind of like a protein dessert. We have it still to this day. And on that day, sleep was disturbed. She was good throughout the day with her energy levels, but she was tired and stressed in the afternoon, and she didn't get to bed till about 10, which wasn't too bad for her about that time. Again, like I said, she was chronically fatigued, sleep deprived, and kind of had to get to bed at a decent time. Day 2, breakfast changes a little bit, but you can see there it follows a similar structure in that meal 1 was the risole, but meal 2 was the omelette, right? So she just swapped those 2 meals around. Everything else looks pretty much the same. And if I look down here where it says woken up by a mirror, this was when, I can't believe it, Logie started sleeping for the first time in probably 2.5 years, and then Miri decided, oh, I'm going to start waking up, right? And it was just one of those parent moments where you're like, for God's sake, finally got one kid sleeping, and Miri never had a problem sleeping, ever had a problem sleeping until this period. It was kind of like one of those parent moments. And yeah, I remember laying there and remember her coming into bed and waking us up, and I felt for Megan because of everything that she'd gone through to this point, and then to have the supposedly great sleeper start to not be a great sleeper. That was some challenging times. Anyway, moving on. Day 3. Again, similar structure with everything, right? We've got a bit of a workout here, right? Now, I'm not sure how long that workout went for, but judging by the sleep a couple of days before, it was probably likely a very short workout, 20 minutes tops, 30 minutes tops. Okay, she had a bit more food this day, right? Just because she was training, but energy levels were really good despite being woken up multiple times. Which just goes to show you, when you do exercise, you do have good nutrition, then you can start to alleviate some of those sleep deprivation symptoms. Day 4, all right, we've got again a similar structure, and what I want you to notice here is just the awareness of the amounts of food. Megan didn't weigh 120 grams of raw mince every single time she had that breakfast. She just knew that was the amount based on how much she cooked, how many times she divided that into serves, and then approximated it. So, for example, if you cook up a kilo worth of mince, right, and you get 10 rissoles out of that, just let's say that's what you've done, they're 100-gram rissoles, right? Obviously, you're going to make it smaller than that, but that simple equation gives you an idea of how to easily track your amounts of food without weighing things every single time you go to eat, because as you can imagine, that would be quite time consuming. So day 4 was another workout day, and the plant food that she's having as well there, the carbohydrates, the carbohydrates are very structured, and they're also the same amount with each meal. And if you notice, there's actually veggies up here in the breakfast. That's a very powerful way to kick your metabolism into fat burning mode, energy producing mode, and really give you a good start to the day. 95% of adults don't eat the veggies. The stats on kids are pretty much the same, right? Monkey see, monkey do. So adding veggies to your breakfast gives you a really great head start. Cool. So day 5, we get to day 5, and there's some great structure there still. Day 6, the wheels start to fall off, and this is the stuff that I wanted to show you and focus on. At the very beginning, where Megan was in relatively good shape, she made some mistakes, and they were pretty regular, right? So day 6, we've got a breakfast burrito, half a pancake, skim latte. That was a meal out, and that was a cafe meal. In between that, there were some regular meals, right? And then we got to meal 5, where there was cheese, garlic bread, milk 5 pizza, lemon lime bitters. And those were the 2 times that she ate, and she ate away from her goals, okay? They were just times where she kind of just let her hair back a little bit. Lessons I want you to take from this is, well, just because you've gone and eaten something off the plan and away from you, it doesn't mean you need to stop eating. And this is another problem that I see a lot of mums do, is they will eat cafe breakfast and they won't eat till dinner, right? And inside of that problem, what you get is, well, first of all, you've gone and eaten away from your goals, but then you haven't eaten anything. So then you get starving hungry again, and you're more likely to overconsume when it comes to actually eating something, or you're more likely to go off and eat something that's off the plan again later on in the day. And as you saw here, Megan, she ate something away from the plan again, but it wasn't too bad. There was 4 pieces of pizza there, and I know mums who can down a whole pizza in one sitting. Okay, so it doesn't necessarily come down to not eating foods that are off the plan at all, or that take you away from yours at all. Is being smart about it and being able to kind of go and eat regular food and then have that as well, but not do it every single day of the week. I see some chocolate in there as well. Okay, and day 7, again, we've got some structure again. We've got some hot cross buns with butter and chocolate frogs. You can kind of assume here that this is around that February, March, April. I mean, hot cross buns do come out on Boxing Day, so it could very well be Boxing Day. I don't think it is though. It's around that Easter mark. It's coming up close to, and again, 8 away from her goals. So out of the whole week, she's eaten away from her goals 3 times, right? And those 3 times probably account for about 5%. So 95% of the time, she's gone and eaten towards the goals, right? And it's around that compliance where you can expect to see some really great results from training.